Welcome back to Movie Summary. Today we are diving into a film called Evolution. The movie starts with a young boy named Nicholas. He leaves with his mother. He then goes to swim one of these days. Nicholas seems to see a dead boy with a red star on his stomach. He is shocked and runs through his town to tell about what he just saw to his mom. The mom then follows Nicholas to the water, and then jumps into it. She comes back with the starfish, but says that there is no dead body there. Back at home, Nicholas is given tasteless food for dinner. The mom then sits him down, and gives him some medicine. Nicholas then asks his mother, what is the disease he is having? The mom explains that all boys on this island needs medicine, because their bodies will get weak as they get older. That same night, we are all the mothers on the island coming together somewhere. Once they all meet, Nicholas's mum brings the dead body we saw earlier, and the other mothers come closer. The next day, Nicholas is playing with the starfish. A friend makes fun of him, saying that he is scared of it. Nicholas gets mad and attacks him. After this incident, his mum decides to take him to a hospital for a checkup. At the hospital, a doctor injects a yellow liquid into Nicholas' stomach. They then tell him to stay one night in the hospital. Nicholas now finds himself with other kids, who have been received the same treatment. These boys now start asking themselves, what kind of disease do they have? At night, nurse is watching some operations being done. The next day, Nicholas is being told he can leave the hospital. He starts thinking that maybe the nurses and his mother are lying to him. He visits his friend's house, Victor, and they sneak out in the middle of the night to see what the mothers are doing. On their way, Victor gets scared, so he goes back home. Nicholas, however, continues as he wants to find out the truth. When arrived, he is shocked at what he sees. The women are all laying down all naked in the mud and passing something to each other. He then runs away back home. An hour later, he watches his mother as she is removing the mud in the shower. He sees she has some marks on her back. In the hospital, Nicholas is given some checkup. His mother gets happy as they hear the heart of a fetus. Nicholas is then taken to another room in the hospital, waiting for the final surgery. In that room, he meets other kids, including his friend Victor. That same night, they proceed with the operation on him. After the operation, a creature is taken from his stomach and out into a jar. Victor dies during the operation. The next morning, Nicholas asks about Victor. She lies to him and says that Victor is recovering. Another nurse brings a shell to Nicholas, saying that Victor sends that to him. His mother visits him, and she brings food for him. This time, he refuses to eat that food. He then gets angry and causes her for not being his mother. They then sedated him and take his drawing book. In the hospital, Nicholas becomes friend with one of the nurses, Stella, who seems to like Nicholas as well. Stella secretly brings crayons to Nicholas and draw with him. He draw dead boy and starfish, but also a bike, car, building and a big giraffe. Stella then decides to reveal him a secret. She shows him photos of women with marks on their backs. That same night, she takes him to the sea, showing the marks on her back. She then takes him in the water. After being in the water for too long, Nicholas passes out. Stella uses CPR to bring him back to life. He then goes back to the hospital. At night he decides to sneak into another room. He finds one of the boys. When he comes to him, the boy takes Nicholas's hand, and out it on his stomach. He feels movement in the boy's stomach. He asks Nicholas to press on his stomach, then vomit. Nicholas gets scared, and runs away into a different room. He sees one of the boys floating in water. He is then caught by a nurse. He is then taken for the final surgery. After the surgery, Nicholas wakes up in the water tank. He is attached and sees two babies with him. He is so shocked and passes out. He then wakes up and finds himself near the sea with Stella. They both enter the water, but this time she put mouth to him as she swim, giving him air to breath. She pushes him to the surface, and both are now in a boat far from the island. Stella then gives Nicholas some water. Stella goes back into the sea. Nicholas stays on the boat and the night arrives. He then sees himself arriving to a major city, and the movie ends. Now let us know what you thought of the movie and your theories on what really happens on that island. Thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and check our other movies summaries.